What's up, guys? How you doing? All right, let's start. What questions do you have for me?
What'd you learn looking back?
A lot of what we talked about after the game. Really frustrating because we didn't play our best, but not only that, we made so many mistakes, kept shooting ourselves in the foot that we really couldn't see that game be competitive. So frustrated that it happened, and for whatever reason, we didn't come out to play. We made tons of mistakes, and it wasn't just on one side; it was all three phases. We didn't play as clean as we should, and I'm the head coach, so I got to fix it. But really excited about this week. Glad that the game's a day earlier, and excited that our guys are out there. We're going to play against a rival, that we're familiar with, and so had a bad outing last year against Utah State. So I know they'll be ready to play, and so will we. I'm excited to see us play our best game this year on Friday.
You said you're excited that it's a day earlier.
Yeah.
That it has some challenges being a day earlier.
No, I wish it was. I wish it was today. Yeah, that's we need to play better football, and the only way to do that is get to the next game. And so we put this game away with Washington, learn from the mistakes, and get to this one right away. And our guys are excited, and we'll be ready. It'll be a lot of fun on Friday.
Should we expect a similar refrain from the players saying we're on to Utah State, similar to what happened with Cal going into Wisconsin?
Yeah, I mean that's going to happen. That's what we had. I thought we had a good response in the Cal game, getting ready to go to Wisconsin, and we have to have a similar response today. And the fact that the game is earlier puts a little bit more urgency for that to happen even quicker on Monday. So we'll have a practice today, and we'll have a full practice, and get to work. And our guys don't feel good about the last game, so we really need to get to the next one. And I think there's a lot of urgency from everybody, from coaches and players, to get to this next game. And I know Coach Wells will have Utah State ready, so we just need to make sure that they get our best shot on Friday.
How much fun are these games? You get them every year, but how much fun are they?
I love these games. I mean, I think just being familiar with our opponents has been really cool, and knowing that there's some history from last year, and want to get a better result. I mean, I believe we started 21-0 last year in that game, and they came fighting back, and they ran away with it. We made tons of mistakes in that game and didn't play a full game. So we feel like we've improved a lot more from last year to this year, and we still haven't played close to as good as I think we can. So it's mid-season, so what a great time to do it than this Friday, and it'll be fun. Give it everything we got because we have another day to rest, and so we'll get ready for it with that mindset.
Last year, before you played them, you came off the bye. This year, they're coming off the bye. Is that overplayed kind of by the media when one team had the bye that they'll be disadvantaged or advantaged?
Yeah, and that's not really going into our preparation, other than they'll probably have a few new things to install against us. And so, other than that, I think it's part of football. I think they have an extra week. They'll probably be a little bit more rested than we will be, but it's okay. It's part of football. We'll have a bye too, and I don't know who we play after the bye. I'm so worried about trying to get this game, going. But that someone will ask us on how we're going to handle the bye around that time. Probably be you, Jay. So, we'll go. Just remember that. And some of the other you guys can just cut in and steal this question for the bye week. No, but that's just part of the game, and it just happened that the bye lies for them with another week of preparation for us, and but it doesn't really matter. We just need to be ready to play.
Moroni announced on Twitter that he tore his ACL. Can you share your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he really wanted this game because he's from Logan, and so just unfortunately, he's had some really tough battles with injury, and I think starting to see him emerge as a receiver and a blocker at tight end has been really good for us as a team. But it's always hard when the guy goes down, and we'll get him back next year. So I know he's resilient. I know he'll want to get back and be with the boys and play on the field again. But his leadership can still continue, and things that he does for our team. So it's just hard not to have him with us, especially in this game, being a local product from Cache Valley. So it'll be, I think he'll be still tuned in, just won't be able to play on the field, but he'll be ready to help us out any way he can.
You're used to injuries as a football coach. It happens every year. But where does the emotion come in just when you see kids like Moroni or these other guys that get hurt?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, being a former player, I've had injuries too, and it's just something that it's a struggle, But these guys will overcome it, and they'll build them, and they'll get stronger from it. Not only physically, but mentally they will. And so he's had some adversity in the past, and he'll get through this. So I think he's a little bit more positive, having to deal with some of the injuries in the past, but he'll get through it. And it's just part of the deal. We had to get our young guys ready, and I think with his injury, we'll need Matt Bushman and we'll need Dallin Holker, and we'll need Hank Tuipulotu to step up and be ready to play as soon as possible too. So I feel good about that position group, about Coach Clark as a tight ends coach, and we've had guys banged up, but we should get some guys back this week. So that'll help us out in this game.
You looking forward to some of the guys on defense that were out?
Yeah, specifically like Diane should be able to practice this week. Zane practiced last week, just wasn't able to go when it got closer to the game. So he'll be ready to go today. And so we'll see what happens when we get to Friday. But I'm hoping that those two guys can play. That'll help us out a lot. I mean, they're two starters, Butch has been battling with some injury as well. So there's a lot of guys banged up and got some hurt. But right now they're still able to play and still able to compete this week. So we'll see how the competition goes this week and what best 11 can get on the field for us in all three phases.
Is Matt Hadley's move back to linebacker permanent, or is he going to be kind of a utility guy?
I think he'll probably be more defensive than offense. I know that they can use him on offense if they need him, but we have a need for him and his experience on the defensive side. And he's a good playmaker, so I think he'll get more plays on the defensive side than he has been with the offense. We just saw that as a move that will benefit him more than anything, and just like to get our best guys on the field somehow.
Looking at Utah State, what do you see on the field?
Oh, man, high power scoring offense, a really good defense too, and so I know a lot of coaches on that staff, and they're going to be ready, and this is going to be a big game for them just like it is for us. So there's a lot going into this game. We'll be excited. They're excited, and well-coached team. I know Coach Wells is personally, we're friends. We've been around each other in the business for a long time. Frank Miley, I'm forgetting guys, but there's a bunch of guys on that staff that we're really close with. We have one of our analysts is Michael Smith that played running back there, so he's close with that group too. And Ituyaki coached at Utah State, so there's a lot of connections. But it'll be, when it comes down to it, the players will be the ones playing, and we even have familiar guys in that, guys that played in high school and everything. So they're really good players, good scheme. I like what they do on offense. They go really fast, and we'll have to be ready for that. And defensively, they tackle well. They do the fundamental part of the game really well, and they have a really good kicking game too. I think their field goal kicker is really good. I can't remember his number. I think he's 8 for 8 or something like that. And it's just been really impressed with their team, and looks like they'll be ready to go when we face them on Friday.
Being back home, that's obviously got to help, but also for the rest of the month, I think you guys are back home. Is this kind of a defining stretch for you guys, just being at home?
Well, I mean, the first 5 games were tough, but I think the whole season's like that, right? We're just ready for this game, and I'm glad that we are home and get to have this game at home. It was I think that was a really good learning experience for us to go up to Washington and play in that type of environment, and we'll see them next year. So it would be another defining moment for us to see how much improvement we can make from one year to the next. I said after the game that team went to the playoffs last year, so and I think they'll do really well this year. And they played their best game and we played our worst, and that was the result. And so it would have just been nice to see how our best game would have compared to their best, And so we missed that opportunity. Now we need to make sure that our best game is on Friday against Utah State.
Coach Tuiaki and Lamb, one of the coordinators' corner, mentioned some regret in going more zone in your coverage versus man like he had previously. Do you kind of have the same sentiment?
Yeah, but I think you can do that every game, and I think they're really good coaches, and they're going to put the blame on themselves for a lot of the issues that they see they can get better. And I think if you look at I just think that Washington was clicking and on all cylinders. They're really good, and I hadn't seen Jake Browning throw that well all season long until our game. So, dang it, But we also did. Tuyaki and Ed are looking at ways to find our defense to be in a better position, and to make more plays. And there's a lot of blame to go around, but more than anything, I need to make sure as a head coach that I get our guys ready to play. We made way too many mistakes, and that's something I need to fix.
Tanner, statistically, I think 18 of 21, but a lot of the balls were really short passes. How did you kind of grade what as you look at the quarterback performance, the offense, struggled to score, but, he was fairly efficient?
Yeah, I think if you look at that one drive, it's mostly the penalties. If you factor in the penalties not being there, I think his numbers are way better, But we teach our quarterbacks to just take what we can get. And I think what Washington was doing defensively, I think Tanner was doing fine with the throwing game. I don't know really what the game would have been how it would have been different if we didn't make the mistakes that we did. We missed a field goal. We failed on that drive to get in the end zone. We turned the ball over. It's like a real in the second quarter, that stretch of plays just really hurt us, and then turning the ball going into the halftime 14-3 sounds like, maybe even 14-7 sounds a lot better than it would have been at 21-0, and we had to get our guys going and just didn't respond the right way. And like I said, that's on me. I got to find a way to get our guys to play better from the start all the way to the end. The effort was there, though. Our guys played hard. They didn't quit. They kept trying after it. We just ran into a machine of a team in Washington, and they looked really good. And in order for us to have a chance, we need to play way better, not make so many mistakes. Cool. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kalani.
All right, who's off the move?
Hey.
What's the mentality of the defense after that game?
I think we're a little bit frustrated, obviously, with making the mistakes we did and not being able to put ourselves in the situations we could have. And I think we're just frustrated. But I think that we just move on, we learn from it, and we take what we did wrong and expound upon it for this next game we have against Utah State. So.
What do you really feel like the team needs to learn? What are the lessons that need to be picked up?
I think the biggest thing is consistency, being consistent in every aspect, as far as being physical. There's plays where I feel like we just try to do too much, and it kind of leaves us undisciplined. And so we got to be disciplined just consistently every single play. So I think the biggest thing is just consistency with the defense.
From the defensive standpoint, how do you approach going up against a team that's putting up, granted not against the toughest schedule, but still putting up really big offensive numbers? How do you approach that task?
Exactly. Utah State has put up big numbers, and they're very explosive. And I think as a defense, we got to put ourselves in the right positions. We got to trust the process as far as the scheme, what the coaches are teaching us, and trust that players will be in certain situations and not going out from our assignment. Because I feel like when there's miscommunication and there's undiscipline, that big plays can happen. And we saw that against Washington. We just got to trust the process, trust the players, trust the coaches, trust everything that's going on, and then we'll be able to be more of a sound defense.
You guys have been able to prevent, the 50, 60, 70-yard touchdown, guys getting over the top and getting behind you. But Washington was able to, get some 20-plus chunk plays. What's the balance there between trying to prevent those versus not letting guys get behind you and get deep?
A lot of it has to be with missed tackles. I've been talking about discipline and consistency and being able to trust the scheme and where you're supposed to be. But a lot of it has to do with missed tackles and effort as well. I feel like in games past, guys have been running to the ball so hard with such great effort and energy that when missed tackles happen, someone was there right away to be able to back us up and erase that mistake. And so, especially as a safety, you got to erase those mistakes. You got to play off of other people. So it's consistency, it's effort, it's energy, it's running the ball. All those things have a big factor in explosive plays.
You're a kid that grew up here in the state. Does these games, in-state games against Utah State and Utah, have more significance for you than another game would?
I try to go to each game more, prepared, right? And, sometimes it does a little bit just because you have so much family around. and it just kind of naturally puts a little bit more meaning. And they're rivals. I mean, they've had our number the last year and the last few years for Utah as well, and so they're definitely rival games. But I mean, we got to go in each week with the same mindset and prepared. But I think sometimes it does mean a little bit more just because you have more people talking about it, more people hyping it up as well, and just the fact that we haven't been able to succeed in the last year. So
Kalani said he's glad the game is a day soon because he wants to get you boys to get back out on the field as quickly as possible. Do you guys have that same mentality that even though you lose a day of prep because of the earlier game, in this case it might be a good?
Yeah, the anticipation. I mean, we didn't play a good game on Saturday. That's the bottom line, and so it stings, it hurts, but it's so good to know that we can come back right away. And it's a day sooner to prepare. It's a day sooner to play. It's a day sooner to just be out there, be physical, and have some fun. So I think that's a great mindset and way to put it.
Practically, with the short week, do you guys try to kind of cram a little bit more into each day, knowing that, hey, we got to be ready by Friday, not by Saturday? Or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the idea of it. Obviously, we don't want to wear our bodies out. But as far as mentality, we have to be ready by Friday. And statistically, it's a day earlier. We have less time, 24 hours less. So we do have to, speed things up, and there's a sense of urgency. But I think we'll come back ready and have some energy for it.
A little more kind of cramming before the test, sort of?
A little bit sometimes, yeah.
This usually happens, and I know you guys always get asked about one day early or things like that. Does it really make that big of a difference, or is more made out of it than maybe there should be?
I think sometimes it's more made out of it than it should be. I mean, it is a day earlier. You do have less time, but football's fun. We talk about football is fun, and it's fun to be out here, and it's fun to hurry, and we're just excited to play football again. So, we got to prepare. We got to be ready, every day of the week, but it's fun just to be out here. It's fun to be studying. It's fun to be with the guys and the coaches, and it's just fun. So that's the best way to put it.
Kalani mentioned Diane might be able to come back this week. How important of a cog is he in this defense playing alongside you?
He's really good. Yeah, you've seen that the last few years. He can make plays happen. He's a very high-energy guy. He's smart, and he's in the right places at the right time. And you've seen him be a big-time factor. And so, yeah, I hope he will be ready. Talking to him, he sounds pretty positive, and so I'm excited for him and for his success because we need him. He's a great player.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Questions for Kyle and Kalani?
Alan, what kind of a rival do you guys consider Utah State in kind of a rivalry pecking order?
Yeah, it's an in-state game, so I think anybody would agree that any in-state game you play would be some type of rivalry, and I think that varies across the board. But it's an important game to us. It's an in-state game, so.
Is it more important in a sense after what happened Saturday? You just want to show, hey, we're not as bad as we showed on Saturday and go out and play a better game?
No, I think we should approach each game individually. But yeah, for a few aspects of what we're doing, I think it's important to have a good bounce back week, and that's going to start today, not Friday. So today's going to be the day that we're going to bounce back and get back on the horse.
What's the discussion offensively to be able to have that type of success?
I don't know yet. We haven't met yet, but I'm sure it'll be the same thing. What it really comes down to a lot of times is that we just need to follow our coaching a little bit better, because I think the coaches, they're consistent in what they're preaching to us and what they're trying to get us to do from game to game, and maybe that's something we can improve on, is just following that coaching a little more closely.
What's it like being on the field when you have a drive? You had that drive there against Washington when things were going well, and then you kept having, you know, penalties that kept setting you back? What's that like? Success and then these penalties that are just slowing you down.
Well, that happens every game to some degree. So there's going to be setbacks, and then there's going to be big plays, and it's a lot of back and forth. And the goal is to, you know, make more positive than you're getting negative type plays. So it's the same every game. It's the same every practice. There's going to be stuff like that every day.
So last year you had your year cut short by injury, and now looks like Moroni's facing that. What's ahead of him? What's that going to be like for him?
Probably the same protocol as usual. And Moroni's shown great resiliency and as far as injuries go, with coming back from an injury last year. So I think he's going to be fine. But for right now, we just want him to get healthy. So.
What's that emotion like? I mean, you guys know it's part of the game. Everybody has to deal with the fact that you might get hurt, but you're friends with these guys, and you know, what's the emotion like watching friends, brothers go down like that?
It's hard, especially, you know, Moroni he's my best friend, so it's hard, especially when you know a little bit more what's going on in their head. I haven't talked to him a whole lot about it, but my wife and I were talking a lot yesterday about how you know, how we feel about it, and so it's hard. It's not just hard on him; it's hard on a lot of us.
Any other questions for Talon? All right, thanks, Talon.
Thanks.
You got to ask him his thoughts on Long Peak beating Bing.
Yeah, we're not going there. And when they're knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, I'll be laughing at you then.
Oh,
Here,
whoa.
grab Tanner. Here's Tanner.
Whoa.
Patriots, huh?
Yes, sir.
Hashtag always ready.
That's a well-known fact by now.
I know.
Shouldn't be surprised. My fourth year here. I've always talked about Tom Brady and the Pats.
Or 6 if you believe ESPN. We won't go there.
Well, looking back at the film, what did you take away from the game after having the chance to reevaluate it?
Just, you know, disappointing. Just seeing the lack of, you know, lack of explosion. Yeah, I think we did some good things here and there, but it wasn't consistent. A run game wasn't clicking like the way it has been, and so that was frustrating because, you know, the first half we were moving the ball pretty well on them. We had some drives and just couldn't put points on the board, and then we kind of just dug ourselves in a hole. We started
shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties and turnover right before half. Just little things like that really put us in a hole. And when you're playing a good team like Washington, you can't do that. And just really made it tough to go from there. And so, it's something that we got to work on. We just got to keep working, keep grinding. Make sure that we focus on our execution. And then when it comes to the penalties and turnovers, that's just us being focused and disciplined and conscientious of that. And so I think I think we're all excited to get back to work this week.
Who's a weapon with Moroni going out again, and how tough is that? First of all, from the football side, but then also just the personal side from a guy you've worked with a lot.
Yeah, I know my heart hurts. He's one of my best friends and someone I really care about, and he's worked so hard to get back, and it's been so fun playing with him again, and so it's heartbreaking, to see him go down, and I could feel for him. Those injuries aren't fun, and so I just feel really bad, and we're going to be there for him, and he's the type of guy, he's not going to let it totally derail him. He's got a good mindset, a good attitude, and he's going to continue to work hard, and he'll be back. He'll be back stronger than ever for sure. And it also hurts us on offense. He's a good player. He's been really good in the run game. He doesn't get a lot of credit for that, but he's a really good blocker for us in the run game. And then obviously he's a good receiver downfield. So we're gonna miss him. But we got guys that can step up and they can play. And so that's just part of the game.
Kalani was saying he really wanted to play in this game from Cache Valley and everything. Is there a little added motivation for you guys now to go out against Utah State and everything, or do you not need any more motivation?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really need any extra added motivation, and there's always motivation whenever you're playing anyone. It's just anytime you play a game, you're excited, you're pumped to get out there and play. And obviously Utah State has had a really good year. They're a good team, and so we got to be in our A game. We got to come ready to play, and we can't let Saturday affect our preparation this week. We just got to move on, bounce back, and get to work this week because we have a really good opponent coming up.
Kalani said that he's glad it's a day early. He wants to see the team get back on the field sooner rather than later. Is that the same mentality you guys have?
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, just kind of shortens the week. Sometimes you get a little excited waiting for Saturday to come. So now we got to wait one less day. And so that's exciting. I think it's fun. It'll be a home game as well, which is always fun, playing in front of the home crowd, and so yeah, I think we're all pumped. And we were all frustrated after Saturday's loss, but what better way to bounce back than to have a great opportunity to go out and play again. Another chance to redeem yourself, another chance to go out and improve, and another chance for victory.
Is it a similar mindset this week compared to what with Cal? You guys talked about, hey, we're on to Wisconsin. Is it similar this week coming off Washington?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it is every week. Once you hit Monday, it's on to the next. And so we're not going to dwell on Washington. We're not going to talk about it more than is necessary. We're just on to the next. That's how it's got to be every week. You got to take it 1 week at a time, one game at a time, and I just think that's key to your preparation and just giving everything you got to Utah State. First of all, because they're a good opponent, and so we can't shortchange ourselves, and so we need to prepare hard, and because we're going to have to play well, we're going to have to execute well and be better, and we're going to have to be on our A game, and so it's going to take all we got this week.
How much fun are these in-state games when you get fans from both institutions showing up? Large numbers usually.
It's fun. It's there's a little bit of a rivalry there, and there's a just I don't know how to describe it. It's just there's a fun atmosphere, wherever you're playing, whether it's there or here. It's a fun game to be a part of, and so this is my fourth time playing Utah State, and it's always an intense game. And it's been close. It's been big plays, big. Like I'm thinking of 2015. It was like Utah State was winning close to halftime, and then Tomasi had that scoop and score and a big momentum changer, and then we played well in the second half, and And then 2016, it was fairly close, and unfortunately Taysom got hurt. And I came in, and that was senior night too, so there's a lot of emotion there. And then last year, Utah State took it to us and beat us pretty handily, and that was frustrating, and that was tough to take. And so there's a lot of emotion that goes into these games, and so it's exciting to have a chance to go out and play again, and I don't know, it's just another fun opportunity.
What challenges does the Utah State defense present?
Well, they've been very opportunistic. They've caused a lot of turnovers, fumble recoveries and interceptions. I mean, they played Michigan State really, really tough. Could have won that game. And then the other teams they've played, they've just really handled. And so they fly around, they play hard, and they're just I think they kind of play tough. They play scrappy, and so we're gonna have to be on point with our execution and make sure that we're doing our job to take care of the ball, to execute, and it's gonna be a fun challenge, fun opportunity to play a good team.
Something else Kalani said was that he feels like this team hasn't put together a full game yet from start to finish. Offensively, how close do you feel like the offense is to being able to do that, to put together a full game?
We're right there. I mean, we showed flashes. We showed at times what we're capable of, but now it's just a matter of putting it all together for 4 quarters. And it's you can't jump ahead of yourself, and you can't play the whole game right now. You just got to take it one day at a time. So today we're just going to focus on Monday and get better at practice today and make sure we're doing our part, and then we'll do the same thing tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, and then come Friday you just got to take it one play at a time, one drive at a time. But it's there. We have the pieces. We just got to make sure that we're being consistent, and we're dialed in, and we're focused, and that we're doing our job. And if we're all doing our job, then that'll take care of itself.
Any other questions for Tanner? All right, thanks.
Okay, thanks guys.
Sir.